Hello and welcome to TradeFlow Television,
bringing you valuable analysis and actionable intelligence
through the global commodity markets.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. U.S. stockpiles of corn and soybeans are expected to increase slightly by the end of the 2021-22 marketing year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said on Friday, indicating a large crop planted this spring would alleviate some supply concerns. With high prices seen as encouraging farmers to expand plantings of corn and soybeans to 182 million acres, the most on record for the two crops combined, the USDA projected a record large corn harvest of 15.150 billion bushels, up 7% from a year earlier, with an average yield of 179.5 bushels per acre. Corn stocks remaining at the end of the 2021-22 crop year, on August 31, 2022, were projected at 1.552 billion bushels, up 50 million bushels over the previous marketing year, the USDA said in its first supply estimate for the upcoming crop.
Mexico on Friday began discharging liquefied natural gas bought under emergency conditions as supplies through pipelines from the United States rose, easing scarcity that led to power cuts and factory closures in its northern states. The tanker Flex Courageous, carrying about 162,850 cubic meters of U.S. LNG, was unloading at the Manzanillo terminal on the Pacific coast, Refinitiv Icon data showed. The government plans to supply the gas to several power plants. A second tanker, the Seri Balhoff, docked on Friday afternoon at the Altamira terminal in the Gulf Coast to discharge 151,300 cubic meters of U.S. LNG after bad weather caused delays since Thursday, according to a Port Authority official and Refinitiv Icon data.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Money managers raised their net long U.S. crude futures and options positions in the week to February 16 to the highest since June, the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission (CFTC) said on Friday. The Speculator Group raised its combined futures and options position in New York and London by 16,219 contracts to 399,935 during the period. Gross short positions in U.S. crude futures and options on the New York Mercantile Exchange dropped to 41,445, the lowest since early January 2020.
Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak said on Friday the government has been working on some support measures for the oil-producing industry, including changes in taxation, following last year's decision to hike taxes. The government has been increasing oil producers' taxes to raise money to cushion the economy from fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, a tax hike is expected to result in the industry paying an additional 227 billion rubles, $3 billion, 361 billion rubles in 2022 and 242 billion rubles in 2023. Novak told the Energy Ministry's in-house magazine that the government has tried to find ways to support the industry.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
Iron ore futures in Asia fell on Friday after a survey of post-Lunar New Year inventories of steel products in China showed a significant increase, dampening hopes for mills to ramp up output immediately following the week-long holiday. The steelmaking ingredients most active May contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange dropped 0.3% to 1,117 yuan, $172.85, a ton by 0700 GMT, declining for the first time in 7 sessions. On the Singapore Exchange, the most traded March iron ore slipped 0.6% to $168.55 a ton, after a 4-day rally.
China on Friday hiked its rare earth output quotas for the first half of the year by more than 27% to record levels, potentially easing concerns of supply shortages after a spike in prices. China is the world's dominant producer of rare earths, a group of 17 minerals used in electric vehicles (EVs), consumer electronics and military equipment. The rare earth mining output quota for the first half of 2021, to be shared among 6 major producers, has been set at 84,000 tons, a joint statement from China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology (MIIT) and the Ministry of Natural Resources said. That is up 27.2% from a year earlier. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. The European Union envisages providing around €1 billion over 6 years to aid Ivory Coast's cocoa sector as it adapts to EU supply chain laws due to be introduced later this year, its envoy in Abidjan said on Friday. In the context of our future programming for 2021 to 2027, the EU is envisaging a Team Europe initiative which could mobilize up to €1 billion to accompany Ivory Coast in the transition towards sustainable cocoa production, EU Ambassador to Ivory Coast Jobst van Kerchman said in an interview. Kerchman did not say when a final decision would be taken. Finally, we have the most recent news on the financial market. Bitcoin hit a market capitalization of $1 trillion as it rose to yet another record high on Friday, countering analyst warnings that it is an economic sideshow and a poor hedge against a fall in stock prices. The world's most popular cryptocurrency jumped to an all-time high of $56,399.99, posting a weekly gain of 14%. It has surged nearly 70% so far this month and was last up 8% at $55,664. Bitcoin's gains have been fueled by signs it is gaining acceptance among mainstream investors and companies, from Tesla Inc. and MasterCard Inc. to BNY Mellon. All digital coins combined have a market cap of around $1.7 trillion.
That is all for today's news on the commodity market. Stay tuned to TradeFlow TV as we continue to provide you with more updates. You can also follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow TV1, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop.